What conspiracy theories do you think are too logical to ignore? Pretty sure I saw it here on Reddit at one point. But someone brought up the art trade. That these $1 million art shows / individual pieces that go for insanely high prices are just a way for money laundering. Tax write-off even. So a real estate friend of mine told me that if you made $1 million you should get a shitty painting done. Have a mate who happens to be an art critic or evaluator value the piece at $50,000, then donate that piece to charity stating its value. That allows you to claim a deductible of $50,000 towards your taxable income due to your charitable donation. Genius. I worked in a museum for 10 years. A very wealthy woman, who was the head of the board of directors, would have her son buy works of art for the museum. Like a $300,000 $400,000 work of art. He would then donate it to the museum and get a full tax write-off for it. And by donate I mean it would come with a stipulation that it would go back into his own personal trust after a period of 10 to 15 years, in which time the work would have risen in value to about $1 to $1.5 million and could be sold off. The way the wealthy can hide their money is unlimited. 1. Kennedy gets elected. 2. Kennedy is critical of the CIA, his own VP and military for wanting to turn the Cold War into a hot one and the willingness to perform false flag operations, Project Northwoods, to do it. 3. Kennedy is shot. 4. His VP takes power. 5. Classified. This one is small and local, but still too insane to ignore, and just came up today. Just recently, our small suburban town's favorite gas station went out of business. Everyone went there. The guy who ran it was the mayor. He retires and sells the property after an issue with the ground underneath the gas pumps. They tear down the gas pumps and keep the garage. Mavis Tire bought the property and opened a new store. A few days after the Mavis opens, someone posts a picture on Facebook of an intersection at a road near it with nails all over the road. The guy theorizes that a box of nails fell off of a construction truck. The police come clean it up, and it seems all is well. Fast forward a few days later, and people are commenting on the post that they're finding nails in their car tires. Not just from that intersection. People jokingly say maybe it was the new Mavis guys throwing nails around, but nothing really happens. Several weeks later, people have been posting day in and day out pictures of nails in their car tires. My dad took my car into the Mavis in question about 3 weeks ago, and they found a nail inside of the right front tire. I noticed that it was driving sort of funny, but never that my tire was on the verge of exploding. I jokingly said people have been saying you guys have just been going around throwing nails all over the place, trying not to laugh at how insane it sounded to say out loud. The guy behind the counter said nothing but yeah with a weird smirk. Over 50 people have posted on the town Facebook that their cars have had nails in their tires. My mom is driving my car now because her car has a nail in the tire. It's been almost 3 months. I'll post updates if anyone is interested. Edit. It totally might not be Mavis. There isn't any proof right now, and there are other possible reasons for the nails, but the timing is too perfect to ignore. Edit 2. Apparently this is a huge deal in foreign countries. PFFT, it's not even a joke, it's the truth it sounds like. It makes no sense. Nails. Dude, if an investigation is launched and they find a bunch of nails inside of the shop, like boxed up and unopened, can't they lose business? Amazed that I haven't seen Gary Webb mentioned. Expose the CIA for assisting in drug trafficking and commit suicide with 2 bullets to the head. Worst case of suicide I've ever seen. Reminds me of the dude in India who was stabbed in the back 12 times with a knife and the police ruled it as a suicide. It worked so well he shot himself a second time. David Miscavige, the chairman of the Church of Scientology, definitely murdered his wife and is getting off scot-free for it. Him and his wife got into a pretty heated argument in 2007, and she hasn't been seen since. Lawyers hired by David claim she is still alive and devotes 100% of her time to work at the Church of Scientology, which is why she hasn't been seen since August 2007. In 2013, a former member of the church had filed a missing person report that was closed after a few officers had spoken and seen Mrs. Miscavige, even though there's no evidence whatsoever of this meeting. All missing persons reports now are turned down, since this investigation is forever closed. Lyra Minnie has had it investigated as well and written letters to Shelley with no response. Before Lee left the church, she wrote letters to Shelley that the church refused to deliver, and when she asked where Shelley was, she was told she didn't have clearance to ask that question. The lead cop that was tasked to investigate when Lee filed a missing persons report. Apparently after he came back with the bullshit "she's totally fine and just doesn't want to be seen" story, Lee found pictures of that cop speaking at a Scientology event. So crooked. Wow, I didn't know this. I thought they had just located her and confirmed that she was safe. She is going to be a prisoner for the rest of her life. I'm confused how Scientology is allowed to get away with this. I get that they have religion status, but a high-ranking member's wife going missing in any other religion would be big news. Keeping her a prisoner would be costly and risky. She's more than likely dead. She is either dead or locked in a bunker. If she is being stored in a ice fridge, it could be both things. Scrodina's wife. Scrodina said he'd never actually do his thought experiment because he wouldn't kill a cat. Especially since he thought the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics was silly if applied to everyday objects, and choose something that sounded like nonsense to illustrate the thought. Let me introduce you to #1Capirsa, the theory that Oscar-winning director Bong Joon-ho made a sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with his 2012 film Snowpiercer. They use the song Pure Imagination from Wonka in the trailer for the new Snowpiercer TV series. This theory is, in my mind, 100% true. The characters and plot lines just line up too well for it not to be. Some torture devices such as the Iron Maiden were made up hundreds of years later, so people would think, well, a regular hanging ain't too bad then. This is literally true as far as the Iron Maiden. I'm pretty sure one of the Simon Whistler things talked about this like last week. Dr. Claw is Inspector Gadget. Edit. Dr. Claw is Human Inspector and Inspector Gadget is obviously a younger clone of him. Explain. Dr. Claw is the real Inspector Gadget. Human Gadget, Claw, was blown up in a terrible accident, causing everyone to think he is dead. Due to his disfigurement, he hides from his family. Grief-stricken, his genius niece Penny builds a robot Uncle Gadget to fight crime and be the uncle she misses. Claw seeks to destroy the machine that essentially took his place. It's why we never see Claw's face, his screwed up voice, and I'm sure there is more I'm forgetting. Edit. Also, this is why Penny is never seriously injured and nothing happens to her. I always figured Dr. Claw was the prototype gadget that had gone wrong. Well, people who say the theory is debunked anyways, because a Dr. Claw action figure with a face and whole body was released at one point, and it's terrifying. That bitch Debbie, that used to work in accounting, stole the succulent I had on my office desk. She always made comments about how much she loved it. Then she quit her job here, and I come into work the next day and it's mysteriously nowhere to be found. Haven't seen it since. Came to the thread to say this one, so glad someone already did. US intelligence conducting organized blackmail operations out of Epstein's Island. The prosecutor handling Epstein's old case was told to back off and go easy because Epstein was intelligence. Acosta's departure from the administration confirmed that this was not just a rumor. So as an American, I would really like to know exactly who was blackmailing who, how far it extended, and what political decisions were affected. The Denver airport theory. I mean, the capstone of the building literally has the Freemason logo on it. There's some weird ass apocalypse murals on the walls. The runways look like a swastika, and there's a 50-foot tall horse statue with red glowing eyes. I mean, seriously, who the fuck designed that place? Building the airport cost $3 billion more than expected, and the labor was piecemealed out through countless contractors, so nobody who built it knows the full scope of it. Oh, and that 50-foot tall horse statue with red glowing eyes killed its creator. DIA is a weird place. Oh, and that 50-foot tall horse statue with red glowing eyes that killed its creator. That thing is like straight out of South Park. For those unfamiliar, that is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. That is truly comical. I'd never heard of or seen this before. I couldn't have imagined how cartoonish and malevolent it actually is. I have a buddy who did work at DIA, confirmed the whole underground thing goes way underground. He was let in an elevator with security and was escorted to a massive underground space, wasn't able to leave without security escorts. That whole thing. Plus DIA was one of the largest earth moving projects, at least in Colorado. I'm sure there's a stat somewhere for that, and they moved wire more ground than seemed necessary. DIA''s been undergoing renovations lately, and the marketing pokes fun at the conspiracy theories. It's quite funny actually. Blue Cipher, the demon horse, did kill its creator, but he's still Denver's favorite red-eyed demon horse. I'd hate to see Denver's least favorite red-eyed demon horse. Or would I? We want answers. Some people had to talk about Fight Club, otherwise it wouldn't exist. Tyler Durden instructing people to not talk about Fight Club isn't aimed at getting them to stop talking about Fight Club. It's teaching them to break rules. Or at least, that's how I always thought of it. That is exactly what it is about. First rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. Second rule is you do not talk about Fight Club. It's like a non-existence paradigm that forces the rules to be broken in order to survive. Metaphorically as it pertains to the club, and also how human/societies interact with the financial/marketing/whatevers of our modern world. With all the scientists in the world, there has to be at least one secret lab on this planet where they have cloned a human. I mean, it's theoretically possible to clone a human being. The main setback is ethical concerns. Then again, when has that ever stopped some people? It's always stopped some people and never stopped others. I like that people always are worried that Epstein was murdered instead of suicide. What if this was a ploy to cover up that he just escaped or paid his way out of prison? Well shit. So Epstein really didn't kill himself is what we are agreeing on here? This is why I like the phrase Epstein didn't kill himself. It can be understood at least two ways. He died in prison by being murdered outright, or his powerful contacts helped him get out of prison. Same end results for the phrase. Probably too late to this thread, but the idea that there are too many chicken wings for the amount of chickens sold. There is something like 1 billion chicken wings sold every Super Bowl. Where are they coming from? Well, you technically get 4 wings from every bird. So 1 chicken equals 4 wings. So 2020 Super Bowl had 1.25 billion wings divided by 4, and that's 312,500,000 chickens. 9 billion chickens are eaten in the US. So it really needs to be asked, where are the other 34,750,000,000 chicken wings? This is the most terrifying one in the thread. Our phones and all the apps on them are listening to conversation. I'm super anti-conspiracy theory, but this has happened to me way too many times in the last 2 years. I impulse shop really badly. I carry cash for the explicit purpose of I can use this guilt-free for an impulse purchase. 2 years ago I bought high-end lipstick with cash in a store after doing zero research on the brand. Next day I had ads for it despite never even previously hearing of that company before. I had only talked with a sales associate about the brand for a while. 6 months later a very similar thing happened when I switched hair care products to very specific brand. Later that night I had ads for their company which I had never heard of or looked up pre or post purchase. 8 months ago I ordered a idea I had never heard of at a bar in New York City. Didn't research the company or anything about it. Not even 2 hours after I left the restaurant I had ads for that brand of idea on my Facebook. There's easily 5 to 7 more times I could think of, but these are the ones that bother me the most, because I'm positive the transactions were all in cash. I had never looked up the product before, and I had very targeted specific ads from those exact companies less than a day later on most of my social media. Totally believe. Never did any research about martial arts or anything, but mention wanting to learn Krav Maga whilst grabbing coffee with a friend, and suddenly I get a ton of ads for Krav Maga and Jiu-Jitsu courses. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please like and subscribe to help our channel to grow. Comment below and let us know what conspiracies you got.